Who collects the tithe? The Melchizedek Order versus modern fundraising. Peace and power. Today I'm going to answer a question that most people avoid because it exposes the difference between biblical order and modern religion. The question is simple. Who collects the tithe under the Melchizedek Order? I'm not teaching this to get money for myself. I'm teaching this because the Bible has a structure. And when you follow the structure, the confusion disappears. Let's start with the foundation. The very first tithe in the Bible is in Genesis 14, verses 18 through 20. Abraham gives tithes to Melchizedek, the priest of the Most High God. This is before Israel, before Levi, before Moses, before the law, before any religious institution existed. That means the tithe is not Levitical in origin. It is Melchizedek in origin. So the tithe cannot be abolished by the Melchizedek Order because the Melchizedek Order is where it started. Now let's go to Hebrews 7. Hebrews 7 explains that the priesthood changed. The law concerning the priesthood changed. The authority changed from Levi back to Melchizedek. Christ is the eternal Melchizedek priest. And Hebrews says Levi himself paid tithes to Melchizedek through Abraham. So what does that mean? It means the tithes were never abolished. What was abolished was the Levitical claim to the tithe. The tithe returned to its original owner, the Melchizedek Order. Now let's deal with something people don't want to talk about. If the tithe was abolished, the Bible would tell you what replaced it, but it doesn't. What people do instead is create fundraisers, bake sales, building funds, donation drives, love offerings, GoFundMe. None of that is in the scriptures. So when a Hebrew Israelite camp told me the tithe was done away with, but they were running a fundraiser, I asked them a simple question. Show me fundraiser in the Holy Bible. They couldn't do it because it was not there. Now let's go to Ezekiel 44, verses 27 through 30. This is a prophetic vision of a restored order. And in that vision, the righteous priesthood still receives offerings, first fruits, and dedicated things. That is tithe language. So even in the prophetic future, the tithe still exists. It is not abolished. It is purified. Now let's connect this to the covenant identity. Galatians chapter 3, verses 16 through 17 and 29, tell you that Christ is the seed, and those in Christ are the seed. Romans chapter 10, verse 6 through 8, and Deuteronomy 30, verses 11 through 14, tell you the word is internal, not external. That means righteous Israel is the Christ, the covenant people walking in the internal word. So who receives the tithe? The answer is simple. Those who actually do the work of the Melchizedek Order. Not institutions, not denominations, not camps, not pastors seeking income, not people running fundraisers, not people building empires. The tithe belongs to the order, not the organization. Who are the people of the order? They are the ones who teach righteousness, steward covenant identity, feed the flock without manipulation, carry the burden of the word, walk in the Judah spirit, serve the people spiritually, labor in the word and doctrine, operate in the Melchizedek identity. And this is why Paul says in 1 Corinthians 9:14, they which preach the gospel shall live of the gospel, not fundraise, not sell blessings, not charge fees, not manipulate people, but live from the work they actually do. So let me make this clear. The tithes were never abolished. The Levitical claim to the tithe was abolished. The tithe returned to the Melchizedek order, the order of righteousness, the order of Christ, the order of the seed, the order of the internal covenant identity. And here's the part most people miss. If you are truly walking in the Melchizedek order, you don't have to chase money. You don't have to ask for money. You don't have to manipulate people. Provision will come because the Spirit compels people to give. God moves hearts without you asking. That is the difference between the order and the institution. That is the difference between covenant and religion. That is the difference between righteousness and fundraising. The tithe belongs to the order, and the order belongs to God. Peace and power.